Sorry.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Attack and Third. So we were having some technical difficulties to start, so sorry about that. But welcome to the show. Of course, with me right now we have our own Pat Bernard, even though nobody really asked him to be here. But here he is, regardless. Well, I'm just kidding, bud. What's up?
Not much, man. Again, another. First of all, Daniel, what's up, buddy? What's going on? RWS swoop. Yo. Very interesting. I went down to go cover the game, and again, now 4 straight games where the Union have ended in a draw.
So tell me, you were down there. You were talking to everybody, talking to the players. I saw. I don't know if everybody got a chance to see the videos, but you were talking to Kurt and you were talking to Bedoya. What's the vibe like right now in the locker room? I mean, Ty at least is a point, but does it feel like lost environment, or is it more of like we're standing steady?
Oh, hold on a second. First of all, we are being watched by this snot-nosed punk.
No.
Yeah. I sensed trouble. Look what popped up. You know what I mean? Jose, what's going on, buddy? He goes, no, Austin.
Jose, I thought you were supposed to be supporting your Hispanic brothers. I don't know what happened here, but
I get close to this, not fast enough. Beat it. You know what I'm saying? And no, so are you the owner of Affiliate Sports? No. I know I'm on like pretty much like 8 shows, but no. No, I'm not. But anyway,
he just likes people to look at his face, so he gets on camera a lot. That's the only.
But Gus, listen, like I said, you asked the question, what's the vibe? And
what's the vibe like back there right now?
So I did the post-game interview with Bedoya, and I asked him the same exact question. I said, what's going on in this locker room? With the combination of the hard-hitting schedule, the combination of you guys dealing with some injuries right now, obviously Carranza, Glazas, is it starting to wear thin as him being the veteran of the team, him being the captain, if you will? Is this starting to wear thin on the team? And he goes, in a little bit. It's starting to be, again, you're playing twice a week now. You're playing Saturdays and Wednesdays. So, but yeah, it's starting to bother them. So, like yesterday, like Quinn Sullivan gets on the scoreboard again. Both teams had a solid defensive game going on, and then that was it. Like, I mean, Quinn got the goal. Obviously, you saw Dallas brought a lot of pressure to. At some point, they were going to find the back of the net. I mean, at some point, they were bringing a lot of pressure at Andre Blake, and then boom. And unfortunately, this is what happened. Unfortunately, they found the back part of the net.
And again, like this is another game that we tie, another game that we could have won. We couldn't find the back of the net ourselves. I mean, it's and I know we got one, which was a beautiful goal, by the way. No, I mean, I'm not knocking Quinn at all. I'm glad he got on the board. I think I said it a couple of weeks back. Once he gets on the board, that he's gonna have that hunger. He's gonna want to score more. And that was a beautiful place ball. The keeper had no chance. A beautiful pass from Wagner. Like this is the Wagner that we're used to seeing, and I'm glad that he's getting that touch back. But again, we're in a spot where we're struggling again to find the back of the net. And I mean, I don't know if like we're missing Carranza more than we should. It's not like our forwards right now are bad. I mean, Ua for some reason there are certain games that he just takes a step back. And I mean, he tries to, keep up with pace and all, but it's not. It's almost like it's forced. It's not like it's It's almost like he's out there just because somebody told him to be out there, and not that he wants to be out there. At times, like, it's not all the time, but at times you see it. It's like he takes place off, kind of like what Embiid used to do back in the day with the Sixers, kind of like that. Like it's super frustrating to see, especially when you're not scoring.
Ooh. Comment coming in from our man Jose. And the great guys, listen, Jose is another great beat reporter. Check him out with AT&T Sports.
He's all right.
Yeah. He goes, overpaid for the production.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely correct. That's absolutely, and we rarely come to the same conclusion. But yeah, that's absolutely correct. He's being overpaid right now for the production that he's having. He's not doing what he's supposed to be doing over there. Now that Carranza's hurt, you would think that he would, produce more or at least try to do more, and he's not. It's just not working out. I almost, honest to God, I almost would rather have Baribo out there and have Ua come out later on if Baribo gets tired. I think at this point, I understand that Ua's been here and we're paying him, but like the whole point of this is to score. Like if we can't do that,
yeah, and you know what? Another great point by Jose. And here goes with it. DP for the money, what he's doing. Send that to 27, number 27.
Oh, absolutely. Wagner needs to get paid. After you gotta listen. At this point, she should have been gone, right? He shouldn't have been here this year. Everybody thought that he was going to be gone by the time the season came around this year. He stayed. Everybody was happy as hell. I was happy. He's one of the best left backs in football. You have to pay the man. Use that money that you're wasting, because right now you're wasting money on Ua, and give it to Wagner. Why not? He's absolutely right.
And someone did ask that in the press conference about the lack of production we're getting from Ua, and Jim was just straight up with it. Like it needs to be fixed. That does have to happen, and he's aware of the lack of production that's going on with him, and that's what kind of like opens my mind. You and I talked briefly about coming on before going on air, but we've often complained about Bedoya getting a lot of time, a lot of free time. To me now, it's starting to speak volumes that he has no trust on anybody with coming off the bench, and that's pretty bad. I mean, in the first half, in the very beginning, Bedoya does find again guys open. He tries to set guys up. He tries to facilitate, and there's times where he's wide open. However, the bad part is there's a bunch of bad miscommunications. There's times where he has a wide open look and completely misses the net. I mean, yesterday, he had that wide open. And then number 3 on top of that, I wonder if the Sons of Ben are getting to the front office about pay Wagner. And it's at every game, the Sons of Ben rally that up. Pay Wagner. Pay Wagner. So Jose's
at this point, you have to.
$37K per week for Ua.
Right.
Wow.
Now, listen, he's about having the same production I would. So pay me the $37K a week.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
But he's absolutely right. Like we're just the union don't like to waste money, and we're wasting money right now on Ua. If he's not going to produce, he just we need to do something about it.
And again, this has been a lingering problem for the union. It's been. I mean, granted, Jim Curran said it's you guys. We're nitpicking about issues that technically we're ending in draw, so they're not losing, but they're just.
We're no longer nitpicking. We're no longer nitpicking. Right. This is an issue now, because we're to the point where I'm like, yeah, we're not losing. Thank God we're not losing, but we're not winning.
Right.
And we're staying stagnant in a place where we're supposed to be going up, and we're supposed to be getting these points because we want the playoffs to come through Subaru Park as much as we can. Because guess what? We win at Subaru Park.
Right, and that's another problem. And I said this to Jim straight up. I mean, listen, we will be with you if you're doing good, but when you're not performing well, listen, the coaches are going to get asked the hard questions. And a little bit, I threw a little bit of a hardball right down the middle. And I said, Jim, listen, I was straight up. I want to know answers. There's, second half, it seems like we take our foot off the gas pedal. Where's the spark at? It's kind of flat. It's kind of flat. And now I feel like teams know his system, know how to play defense against his system, where they want to see where guys are going with the ball, and so forth. And is it Carranza? I mean, is that how much we rely on Carranza this year? I mean, if without him, who else is finding the back of the net?
Well, I mean, Quinn's getting there. We're just not
Quinn's
getting the ball. We're not getting the ball to him enough. And again, we're still forcing passes that down the field. But passes that I mean, yeah, they've worked in the past, and I'm okay with it. But like now, they're forcing them to the point where like, let me just put something down there and let's see if it hits. We can't do that. We have to be able to make up some plays. We have to be able to execute those plays and put the ball in the back of the net ultimately.
Yeah,
we need help though from everyone. Everyone needs to execute. I wish I could tell you why Bedoya was that way. He got subbed out, I think, in the 74th minute yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Bedoya, he got 75th minute. He 75th? Got
that's really long.
Yes.
Like, if he is starting
of the game time,
if he is starting, he should be subbed in at 60.
Yeah, and speaking of, Jose brings up not giving Quinn enough time. He cannot sub during the last 10 minutes. Big current issue. Subs way too late, reactive instead of proactive.
And exactly that. He waits for 12. It's almost like he has a sheet, and he's like, "Well, I'm not subbing this guy until this minute," and then he just sticks to it, like no matter what. We can't do that. These guys, when you're not producing, when you have to be able to find some kind of spark. Like, where's Torres?
Right.
Torres?
It don't see playing time. No playing time for Torres.
And what you have on the field right now isn't working.
The doctor of awesomeness is asking for it. The doctor of awesomeness is calling.
Come on, you know what? Bring him in. Come on in.
You know what?
Bring Jose in. I want to have a conversation.
I'm going to bring Jose into this.
Bring him in because I want to know. I want to know what he's feeling like. He's got to be as frustrated as we are.
Now he says beam. I take the word beam a little loosely. I sit next to that white beam at every game. Okay. Okay, Jose. No, he's great. Let me bring the man in himself. I'm going to send him a link.
He's got to be as frustrated as we are.
I bet you. His condition is all red.
It really is. It's just there's some decisions by Curtin that that we just don't understand, and maybe it's because we're not seeing the full picture. I mean, I'm not really sure.
Right.
There's got to be a reason behind all these decisions. There's got to be.
Right, and there has to be. Like I said, I wonder if if Jim Curtin doesn't trust Brujo coming off the bench or any of these guys. I mean,
well, why wouldn't you trust Brujo coming off the bench?
Well, listen, I'm going to slide out here because the man who usually stares a hole through my chest in the press box is here. And I'm hiding for this man. This man, when he locates me in the press box, I just see his knuckles just going from here to here.
Don't be a wuss, Pat. You stay right there. Don't be a wuss.
I am a wuss. I'm from. Oh, first of all, hello, Austin. Are you with us?
What up?
For the minute?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, well, listen.
What's that, bud?
Bong. Dong.
What's up, bud?
What's going on, Jose?
What's up, Jose?
Oh
no, his mic's muted. Thank God his mic is muted.
Are you muted?
His mic is muted.
No,
this is the best time. Oh, thank God.
He really did pull another taker. He just up and
yes. Let's see. We got you?
No, we can't hear you.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Thank you.
Losing it.
I'm muted. No, Jose is a good day for me. I'm muted.
Are you muted him on purpose? You can be
no. Oh gosh. But anyway, so guys, what's going on? I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna make sure Jose's together. I'm gonna get these kids to bed. But guys, Austin, take it away. What did you see from yesterday?
Honestly, a, pretty much a lot of what you guys had reflected during the time that I was trying to get in. I was listening in. Just a lot of lack of execution in the second half. Injury, it definitely makes things a lot more difficult for sure. But it was just like the tail end of that match. The whole second half just felt very flat. You know what I mean? It was just really hard to find a finish.
Do we get him?
Here he is. Yes.
I think you got me.
There it is.
Yep.
What's up, bud?
No, I appreciate you guys beating me in because I think I'm as listening to you guys as frustrated and confused about this team, and I think it goes without saying. And Austin, I'd love to hear your thoughts since I've already heard from Gus, but like the expectations being so high that despite being in the situation that the team finds itself in, if you were to take the pulse of the fan base, you'd think that this team is outside of the playoffs, right? And
right, absolutely, yeah.
And that's,
you would think in an at best situation we're like clawing to get in
but that
like an 8 or 9.
It goes to show what expectations we have of this team and what they've been doing for the last few years. But in a sense, it actually makes me happy that we're up there. And then on the other side, it's like, what the hell is happening?
It gives you vibes again of like 2014, right, or 2015, as this team was starting to like crawl its way back into relevance, I guess, and building the spine of it all with Blake, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But man, like it's hard to be satisfied with as many draws as this team has gone into. And I'll be talking more about it tomorrow when I go to the PHLY, the Philly, whatever, that new podcast group that just started. I'm going to be going over there tomorrow.
Oh, you are? Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So catch me there tomorrow at noon. Plug. But it's really fascinating to see just like, man, we're fortunate as a fan base that this team is just as good as it is at home, because anywhere else, I'm surprised that Charlotte doesn't beat us. And frankly, Cincinnati should have beaten us considering that Lucho Acosta was not there. So you throw in Lucho and I think that's a 4-2 game at best, citing the way to Cincinnati. And kudos to Cincinnati, right? I'm fairly certain, unless they pull a Philadelphia Union, that they will beat Toronto this weekend and finally claim the Shield, and that's the result that they need to do so. So just fascinating, and this is all coming at the worst time, though. Austin, I'm interested on your thoughts on obviously the situation this team finds itself in.
I feel like as a fan base, we see this team as, I guess you could say, reeling right now. Three matches that the expectation was some of them were potentially losses, but to walk away with draws in ones that you had an advantage in, namely the Cincinnati game, is just it's really I still can't really figure out the right words for it, because like I want to say it's disappointing, but at the same time, like it's kind of not. Like Cincinnati, it was that whole situation of like you're maybe going to be able to beat them, and then you blow that lead, and it becomes a bit of a surprise. I guess that would be the word that I'd use. Is I'm surprised right now. I mean,
are you?
Because it's every single match has been a very weird situation. Like up 2-0 against Cincinnati, flatten out in the second half and let them come back. Down in Charlotte, battle back and draw a point from nothing. LAFC, literally no scoring whatsoever, which is good and bad. And then the match against Dallas, where you had the advantage again. And you had an advantage. You fell flat. You had a couple of miscues in the tail end of the first half that led to it getting even. And then you just don't show up for when Areola and Pereira come onto the field, and they're able to really push a lot on you. And that's that's pretty telling right now. Like if you don't have Glesnes back there, there's some cracks in the armor.
And let me tell, like I like Lowe. I think he's he's a good piece to plug in here and there. No, I don't think he's gonna be okay in the day-to-day basis. In
No,
terms of having like a solid back, Glesnes and Elliott have been our towers back there for a number of years now. But not to take anything away from Lowe. I like the way he plays because to plug somebody like him in, let's say mid game to give a spark, I would love to see that, right? Because that's what he does. He plays CB, but he's always looking at the attack side, and I like that, just not on an everyday type of basis. I like it to be contained a little bit, or even if he does play, just dial back the aggressiveness just a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, to your point of Damian Lowe, it's to me it's interesting, and maybe I have a bit of a bias in liking him, and the reason being him being a Reading United alum, and being so close to where I grew up in Fleetwood, and I never got to watch him, but nonetheless hearing that story, his time in Egypt, as well as coming back to Miami and then finally finding his way back home where apparently he wanted to be all along, and having talked to his coach and general manager at Reading United AC, they were so disappointed when he was picked by someone else other than Philadelphia during that draft. So nonetheless, it's to me, he has like a special place, but let's make no mistake, right? He was very, very serviceable during Leagues Cup, but let's also, let's not lose our marbles here. Leagues Cup, especially those early rounds, were not top-notch opponents, right? We're talking about some mid-table to bottom-table Mexican Liga MX team. So, he did a great job during those games and stepping in. But, where I'm really intrigued, and at some point I'm really scared of this happening, we either, as a fan, I'm talking as a fan right now, I'm using the we term, but as a fan, a Kai Wagner who, we finally got in rest for Jacob Glesnes. We finally got in rest for Jose Martinez, Bueno and Lowe coming in. But I'm afraid that a Kai Wagner is going to suffer an injury right before playoffs, considering the minutes that he's logged in, right? Yeah. I mean, I did a comparison today between him and Gressel, as I was sort of thinking, Kai wants to be paid Gressel money, closer to $1 million. Has he earned it? And looking at the minutes, Kai has played over 2,500 minutes this year compared to Gressel's, I think, 1,800, 1,900 minutes.
That's a lot.
Which is a lot. So to me, in my head, I'm thinking he needs to rest. But when you look at the past few performances, how can you give him rest when he's putting up some solid performance, 120-some touches a couple of weeks ago? Then this past week, I should say this, last game, most crosses, most tackles, most chances created, most tackles, and that assist from
that was crazy.
Unbelievable assist.
I mean, not to take anything away from Quinn, because he did handle the ball I love that. You do not see that very often here.
No, you don't.
That was awesome, but the pass was perfect. Like that assist was just perfect.
Yeah, and I guess I'm a long-winded way to say, as we prepared for this, again, grueling stretch, and we heard it from Steve Cherundolo yesterday after losing to Tigres, and Jim Curtin a couple of times, uncharted territory, and Ali Bedoya mentioning it during that Philly Union podcast, it was nice to get paid, but maybe more money should have gone for the wear and tear that we put on our bodies. It's really fascinating to see the results of Leagues Cup now, and the Union doing well, 7 games or whatever it was in a month. Like, that's unbelievable for professional players.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then they get into a point, and I think I said it last week.
That's World Cup style.
On my article last week, I don't. Maybe it's the minutes. Maybe it's the number of games they've played this year that they've lost some spark. But that's why we were resting some players. I absolutely agree that Kai should definitely get some rest now. I just don't know if Jim's going. Kai is the kind of player that I don't see him wanting to rest.
No, and
he wants to be out there. So So
if
I
you
think
follow
I
him
think
on,
Jim's just kind of letting him do his thing,
yeah,
but
and you kind of have
sometimes
to.
that can come and bite you in the ass.
Yeah, you kind of have to let him do his thing, right? You think about
Yeah.
the situation that the Union find themselves in with him in terms of the leverage per se, and the Union have zero, and Kai almost has zero when you think about won't get too in depth about it, but with the way that the CBA works, right? If you read through page 101 through 105 of the CBA, you figure out that Kai can only get paid the money that he wants from the Philadelphia Union. If he goes to any other team within the league, he's capped at 15% more than what he makes at the Union.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either at the Union or abroad. So he's sort of handcuffed, and if I want my money, it has to be here. But Ernst Tanner has already said, no, we're not going to give him the money that he wants. So it's fascinating, and it's just sort of like you have to let him do what he wants, and if he wants to play every single game, shit, squeeze that lemon dry. But at what end? And is that end, first round exit? And
But that's what I'm saying. Why do you think that we don't want to give him what I think it deserves? To be honest with you,
so I think there's a multitude of factors, right? I think the way I read Ernst Tanner's comments, and I haven't talked to anybody about it, no Jonathan Tannenwald or Joe Tansey or Matt DeGeorge, who were all invited to that luncheon or were available during that training session when they eventually had time with Ernst to ask questions. And I wish I would have been there, because Ernst was directly answering the quote that I got from Kai. So to me, it was just kind of like, oh, I wish I would have been there to press him on some questions. The way I read his comments were two-way, and I don't think that they have to be independent of one another. He doesn't want to set the market for what a left back is paid in this league, but he also doesn't want to disrupt the wage structure in this team, which I totally get point B in terms of not wanting to disrupt the wage structure. But when you look at some of the faces in this team, and I mentioned it, and I would say it to his face probably a little bit more courteously, but Mikel Ua, I don't see how he's earning the type of money that he's earning this year. 8 goals, I think, tops, at least in the MLS. And
right now he's stealing. He's not earning. Yeah. He's stealing.
Alejandro Bedoya, who, injury took a lot of time away from him. And as he was getting back up to speed, then a red card against Red Bull, international break, then going back to only playing 60 minutes. I'm not sure that he's earning the $1 million that he's making this year.
I would pay him to sit down.
I know you would. So to me, I think the magic number for Kai, and I think it's difficult to get to this point, is probably above Gressel but below Daniel Gastag. So that's somewhere between $939,000 and $1.2 million. If he lands somewhere between there, he's between Glesnes and Gastag. And I think Jack Elliott is somewhere in between there. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Now, here's the big question. Austin, does he deserve it?
Yes. Do you think I'm stupid? Obviously.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right, Austin? Like, a gut reaction, it's yes. Like he's yeah, I mean, you don't have to look at too many statistical websites to realize, like, he's putting man of the match performances, and sure, folks in the press who have said, it's difficult to set that standard. It's difficult to see the Union setting that benchmark and resetting what a person in that position earns. But I have a hard time seeing how Kai has not made his case to earn the money that he wants to earn. And that's where I'm sort of like, okay, so why can't he, if you look at his body of work over the last 5 years?
Am I off by saying that he's top 2, maybe 3 left back in the league? Is that off?
No, I don't think so. And Austin, I'll probably throw it to you in a second, but to me, I think he's up there with the only left back that I can think that's above him would be Gressel, and he plays often as a midfield as well, and switches sides left and right, where Kai is typically static, but I think that's more of a result of coaching versus, inability or ability to.
Well, to me, Kai is more of a natural left back, right?
Sure. Yeah, natural fullback,
Yeah.
left-sided fullback, up and down. And honestly, with the way that Jim has toyed around with the lineups over this year specifically, it's hard not to see him as a fullback, right? Where he goes back 3, middle 5, or he goes back 4, middle 3, and the freedom. And obviously a lineup is nothing more than just the starting numbers. I think it's all so fluid nowadays that it's not like I'm 32 years old, so I'm not that old, but like, the 90s or the early 2000s where 4-3-3 meant like, you have this rectangle, you're not leaving this rectangle, and anybody who steps in there, it's yours. And anybody who is not there, you can only dribble up to this point, you got to pass it. And that was very much like the American way of coaching that I was instructed as a kid. So it's interesting, though. Austin, I'd love to hear your thoughts, whether or not, not expecting a hard answer from you, but it's to me, it's hard to believe that, you can deny Kai at least a pay raise. And I'm sure that there is wiggle room. There has to be.
There has to be.
There has to be 100%. And like you said, you look at the body of work that he's put in over the last 5 years, he's definitely deserving of it. I mean, not only does he log a ton of minutes, but he's incredibly effective every single time he's out there. So, I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't have been warranted. And I totally agree with his stance on it, though. Like, if I can't get it here, I'm going to have to go elsewhere. And just like Gus and I have been echoing all year long.
And unfortunately,
I think he froze it.
I think he froze it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it sounded like a perfect cutoff moment.
Shoot.
No, that's okay.
Just the fact that like Gus and I have been echoing it all season long. The fact that we have Wagner this year is a surprise, because we thought that he was going to be gone in the transfer window and not.
I thought for sure. I wrote him off to the point where I was seeing like who's going to take his spot.
Yeah,
and you're absolutely right in saying he's incredibly effective. I mean, he might be right behind Blake in terms of position and effectiveness for his position.
I don't have any insider information by any means, but just speculating and looking.
Don't lie, man. Just tell us. I know you.
In terms of where he could land, I really do believe that Cincinnati is a strong situation for him to land at. And the painful thing is, you think about Barreal, who just got a nomination for a Puskás Award, which is unbelievable, right? For someone from MLS to get nominated for a Puskás for his volley.
Kind of cool.
It's very
really
cool. I think it's another vote of confidence to what this league's developing into. But Cincinnati, I think, makes a lot of sense. I think Kai would be willing to stick it to the union. I think he's been
what I'm afraid of, man.
He's been happy here, but he would totally be like, okay, if you're not going to give it to me, I'll go somewhere where I know it's going to be a great situation. And he has friends there, right? I think my understanding is that his family is very close, or was very close with Sergio Santos's family. And when he departed to Cincinnati, it was a very hard thing. So Cincinnati makes sense to me in terms of Barreal being more or less, left foot out and, off-season right foot, because who's not going to buy him if he wins a Puskás Award and MLS Cup, etc. I think he's European bound at least. So there goes, Kai into that slot, and being with Pat Noonan, someone that Kai is very comfortable with, Chris Albright, also another face that he's comfortable with that union connection. Never mind if Sergio Santos is still around. I'm sure Sergio has hopefully positive things to say about Cincinnati, but I think Cincinnati is probably the place that makes the most sense when you really think about those intangible things, right? Not necessarily just monetarily, because, you can cap his earn at whatever it is, $730K times 0.015. That's as much as he could make next year if he goes within the MLS, which I wonder if that gets changed in the future CBA. I would think so. To cap free agents to make only 15% more if they stay within the league is, to me, kind of bananas.
I'm curious to see how the CBA changes, though, because I think it will, and I think we're going to see a different contract sign. But but I'm interested to see what they do, like, and how extreme they go.
Well, it's interesting. I contacted a sports lawyer to kind of get an opinion of, can this actually change so quickly? And CBA wise, no, not really. And my question revolved mainly around the number of games that players were forced to play and during Leagues Cup and total, I guess, the body of the season, right? The union and Jim's term of uncharted territory. And the sports lawyer mentioned to me, no, typically not, unless they can prove without a shadow of a doubt that working conditions have changed. Which to me in the MLS, it's kind of hard to show, right? It's not like they're at a factory line packing hot dogs or that type of thing where like suddenly a rail guard that keeps your finger away from the meat grinder is, I'm quoting basically, touching onto the Jungle, the book. So spoilers for anybody who hasn't read the Jungle in 6th grade. It's not like they lost a safety guard that's keeping their body away from harm. It's they're obviously being heavily compensated for performing in the Leagues Cup, and I'd be intrigued. Like what does a Joaquin Torres make from the Leagues Cup, having not really touched the field at all during that time? So the CBA should be good through 2028, unless the owners would be interested in renegotiating that to. And they're not going to renegotiate it to give them more without getting more themselves. So it'll be really interesting.
Definitely will be, for sure.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. Really excited to when that does happen and see how the union handle it more than anything. That's obviously that's everybody's concern here, but I would love to see how and if they change the way they approach paying players. It's very important.
Yeah, I'm intrigued about that too, right? Like, there's league minimums, and I think there was a survey that was tossed around, and I wasn't able to check the credibility of it, but MLS, I think, average senior salary was somewhere in the $85,000 to $90,000. When you look at across the other leagues in the United States, that was very much at the bottom of the barrel, especially against the NFL, never mind NHL and NBA. So
that's like G League type of money.
Yeah, so it's not good, to quote Jim Curtin. Not good. So yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued onto what the changes are this offseason and what the owners are willing to give up. And frankly, I think a lot of owners, and I don't think that they need unanimous voting for changes to happen. So I'm guessing that some owners will be forced to have to spend more or be forced to cope with public pressure to be forced, to spend more, because that's just, no, not everybody's a Bob Tepper out in Charlotte who owns, the Panthers and Charlotte FC that can, buy just about everything. Yeah. And that's just the situation Philadelphia finds itself in.
I'm really interested to see, but now we have to, focus on what's coming. Hopefully, try to go for the win. But we have a match coming against Columbus on Saturday. And,
dude, we're losing.
Yeah, dude.
You beat me to it.
No, and we were talking about that battle, right? Of or at least in my head, a battle of performances between a Gressel and a Kai Wagner, right? And this is the ultimate test, and hopefully both are fit. Hopefully nothing has happened. I'm not available to go to the practice tomorrow to make sure that Kai Wagner's there and all the rest. But I'm hopeful that Kai and Gressel are able to be on the field at the same time, so we can really see whether or not they are at the same level. You know what I mean? The justification for the salary that he wants is there, because that's the benchmark.
Well, see, here's the thing. I think he knows that, and I think he's going to perform. I think we're gonna see a really good game from Kai.
Well, you just jinxed it. He's gonna have 3 own goals.
Listen, I don't jinx people. I just make things happen. Okay, I make shit happen, Jose.
I mean,
that's what I do.
You did predict that the first shot that Messi took against Blake was going to be saved by Blake, and that's not what happened at all.
No, not one bit.
Listen, I was just being hopeful. Don't. I mean, I'm saying that's it was Messi. Nothing. Listen, with Messi, nothing counts. Okay.
But at the same time, me. All I do is spit facts. So
nothing with Messi counts. Okay, I was just being hopeful. It didn't work out that way. I really thought he was going to do it, to be honest with you. That was
It was close.
Whoever
It was
was
really
on
close.
goal that week against Miami was not Andre Blake. It was somebody else. I don't even know or care to know. It was someone else. But anyway, Austin, this weekend, Columbus, your thoughts? Do you think there's a chance?
I am not hopeful. I'm really not. With the way at least one half of 3 of 4 games has gone with how the Union played, I do not like what could happen.
See, the problem is that we're playing.
Columbus is in a dogfight in like near the lower end of the table, and well, at least in terms of playoff positioning, anyway. And they're in a real fight, so they're trying to get every single point possible. And I just don't like how Philadelphia is coming into this match against a team as hungry as Columbus.
These teams that we're going against are playing to win. We're playing not to lose. There's a huge difference between the two. And we can't approach it this way because this is what happens. The fact that we're playing not to lose and that we're tying these games should tell you a lot. And we can win these. We can definitely put in the effort and win these games. We're just not.
Yeah. And
bottom line, that's just what it is. We're going out there and we're playing not to lose.
Listen,
we saved this yesterday. Well, it was pretty clear. It wasn't really a save because it was definitely a handball. But you know what I'm saying? Like we need to go out there and do more. We're just not doing enough, and I don't see Jim really putting any kind of urgency on it.
I think the main goal is to avoid. It's obviously to have home field advantage of some sort, right? And I think that falls with it being between 1 and 4, and I think everybody else just kind of travels around. But also making sure that you don't find yourself at the bottom end, A, not having home field advantage, and B, how likely it is anymore, I don't know. Obviously, U.S. Open Cup yesterday with him not playing, and I'm talking about the little Argentine out in Miami.
What's his name again?
No, I don't remember.
Josef Martinez.
Yeah. Julian Carranza.
Yeah.
Just I think the goal is to not find yourself away from home, and also be by any needs necessary. Don't find yourself facing against, because if you're Cincinnati, you're a 1 seed facing the bottom half of the bracket. Do you really want to face Messi? Like in their first round, that's a very difficult, especially at that point, being a first of 3, having to go down to Florida and have to perform. So it's fascinating. And, for the Union's sake, and it's difficult to predict, but man, also trying to avoid artificial turf to not have to play against the New Englands of the world. And God forbid that Charlotte finds its way in the playoffs as well. So it's just difficult to predict with how tight the East is this year.
It's very tight, man. Anything can tilt it. That's the thing. There's no solid outcome right now. Anyway, right as we get closer, it's gonna be more clear. But right now, it's really other than Cincy. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's really close.
Yeah, I'd love to get your thoughts from both of you, and as I, I gotta run in a little bit. But your thoughts, and I think a couple of other press reporters subscribe to this notion of, this year the league has really stank. It hasn't been entertaining. It hasn't been fun. It hasn't been good. MLS has been boring. If it wasn't for Messi, this league this year would have been just kind of like in the shits. But I don't know that I subscribe to that notion. I think I've thoroughly enjoyed, if you take Leagues Cup away and maybe even Messi coming here, I think I would have been perfectly entertained. So I don't know where that ill feeling towards the league is this year of all years, right? Like, sure, the West is different because St. Louis is having a run, though you could argue that it was the same with Austin last year. This year with, New England, despite selling players, still staying up top. Cincinnati turning it around from being an okay team or good team to being an excellent team. So I don't know if you guys subscribe to that notion of that the league this year has been bad or boring if it wasn't for Messi. I just don't see that.
I don't see it that way. I mean, if you're comparing, maybe he was comparing leagues. If you're comparing it, That's the only thing that I can think of. If we grab MLS for what it is, I think it's been perfectly fine. I mean, if you take out Messi and all that, maybe with him coming here, maybe he wanted teams to play a little harder or better. I have no idea. But I don't think I necessarily back that comment up. Just because, yeah, maybe it's not as clean as other leagues are. Maybe it's not. It's frustrating at times. Like I tell Austin all the time, it's kind of frustrating. Let me, watching these games. I'm like, dude, why would you make that pass? Like, why would you force it through? Like, it's super frustrating. But I don't necessarily jot that down as boring. If they were just cruising on the field doing nothing, to me, that's what's boring.
Yeah, and I'm in that same boat of like before Messi came around, it was literally Cincinnati making the run that they were making. They were hot at the time before Messi came in, and St. Louis immediately was. How many did they win consecutively to start the year? Like they were on a really strong run to start the season, like just surprising the entire league. And there was plenty going on in the league before Messi came that was worth watching already. And then adding Messi onto it just made it even better. Like you had LAFC playing really well to start off the season behind St. Louis, in their title defense. Philadelphia was playing pretty strong to start the season. Obviously those are two. That was like the main storyline coming into the season was those two, and then it was also St. Louis is in the league. How are they going to do? Will Austin run the way they did last year? Like there was plenty that already had set the stage coming into this year. That the stuff that we've already seen is even better. Like I felt like the expectation for this year has been well and exceedingly met, I guess you could say would be the term. It's been really fun to watch, and I'm honestly I can't wait for playoffs to get here, and I can't wait for next season now at this rate with the way everything's been going.
Well, Austin, it'll be all of a 1 month break between or 2 month break between playoffs and next season. So gear up and get all that hat and your blazer Pat Bernard style ready for the next press box.
I'm showing up in a full tux next time I go sorting.
Oh my god, the poor guy's probably listening, and here I am just going at it. Gotta get the true religions and the blazer ready.
Listen, dude, I think he's used to it. He's been friends with me for 20-some years. He's used to it. Trust me.
That's funny, man. That's
it really is.
No, yeah, it's fascinating. I think this end of the year will be really interesting, and I wonder, if this all goes well, then I think it sticks. But if it doesn't, I think we'll see some more changes in terms of the playoff format, right? I think right now it feels like yes, we need Apple but Apple needs content, right? We need content, and that's what Apple wants to do, right? Let's get a best of three. And honestly, to me in my head, I'm like, there's no way. How does that even make sense? MLB playoffs will be over by the time that MLS is over. This whole thing doesn't end until December 9th for MLS, which to me is kind of like, oh, so it's after my wife's birthday. If the Union make it to the final, so 7 days after my wife's birthday, I could be at the MLS final, hopefully at the Philadelphia Union. Doubtful that it will be at the Philadelphia Union, so got to be prepared for travel for that. But to me, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, that's mind-boggling. But I'm just intrigued to see how it shakes out, and if this is again sort of like a trial year, and then next year they just go ahead and throw it all in the bag, shake it, and then see what sticks at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited for that myself. I can't wait to see how it plays out. I'm hopeful that we're able to put on a couple more points, even though I know we're bitching about the ties, and yes, it's 1 point, but it's just really frustrating the way that we've been doing this, and it could be worse because we could be losing. So yeah, maybe we're. I don't want to say we're overreacting because I think we're reacting just perfectly the way they're playing, but I just it could be worse. I guess is my point is that it could be worse.
I couldn't resist. With Jose's question because just trying to listen in the back and I couldn't help myself. And
Put your blazer on first, and then we.
no, because it's an interesting question, right? With MLS, first you said there's people found this, with intention with Messi being here, being boring, and I think no. And matter of fact, me, Gus, and also so we used to do work with Vinny Quinn. Who used to be on WIP, and he told us himself, he said, it's going to be interesting to see the Philadelphia Union, if they can keep on a playoff run, where will they start falling in ranks? And you saw, though, when they got to the MLS Cups, I know people who didn't even watch soccer, wound up the TV, and not just that, I just knew people were, texting me, saying, yo, this is great. This is the first time I'm ever watching Union soccer. So if you think, just keep this momentum, getting to the playoffs every year, more eyes will follow them. And this was pre-Messier. This was all pre-Messier. And I think, overthinking this, I'm thinking, like, why is the MLS going to do this? Why are they expanding the playoff run? It does the champion no good because within 6 weeks you got to get ready for the next season. However, if you are a NBA fan or a hockey fan, if your team stinks, at least now you have something to look towards. Everyone will be geared to the Sixers stink. Well, at least I have a Union, soccer team to fall back on. At least they're this kind of opens some eyes to other fan bases. So I think this is a great thing that they're doing.
Yeah, and you're right, and it's again, I don't know where what they're watching to say that it's boring. I don't think that it's boring.
No. From your typical 4-for-4 guys who don't know anything, who won't open their eyes to any other sports. So this is what they think, but again, everyone loves a winner. So if the ML,
so when I have conversation with these people though, like dude, I you could see I'm as big a football fan as I am soccer, as I am basketball. Like I can talk for days about sports no matter what.
What are you trying to show me? Is that your Tony Soprano gabagool?
Hey, Gabagool. No, the Philadelphia Eagles, man. That's what that is.
Oh, now I see it. Now I see on the time.
So you know what I'm saying? I love talking to these people about it because like they really just don't know how big soccer is. And when I say that it's the number one sport in the world, I always get with, well, it's not the number one sport in America. Like, bro, America is part of the world.
And don't get me wrong, this person is super knowledgeable on the sport and has been, reporting on the Union for a long time. But to me, when I heard that comment of like, and I don't know that he used the term objectively, but to me, it's almost sounded like, he was in his train of thought was kind of saying like objectively, the season this year league wide has been really boring and Messi has saved it. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know, man. I enjoyed everything up to Leagues Cup, just the drama and.
Was he talking about the Union specifically or the league as a whole?
I think the league as a whole.
See, that doesn't make any sense because when you just look at Cincinnati by themselves, nobody.
And that's just it, right? Like,
nobody thought they were going to be here, like to this point anyway, and here we are.
And that's just it, right? Like to me, it was kind of like a non-starter of an argument, and reasonable minds can differ, and that has to be respected in a way too. So, for what it's worth, it is what it is. But one thing we can all agree on is, man, gotta show up to the press box, Pat style, from now on.
Listen, and the one guy said in the press box, Jose, you might know him better than me. The guy, he's got like I want to say like an English accent. But I guess he does sales. I don't know what he does with the team. I forget. So he's tall, bald-headed, but
is it Elliot?
No.
My dude, are you possibly talking about Danny Higginbotham?
I don't know. I was hanging with him all day yesterday, and like I said, me and him were talking, and the best thing he told me,
Bro, if we're
about
talking about Danny Higginbotham and we're just like some British dude, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Well, yeah, remember,
Okay.
well, listen, the thing he brought to me, he goes, what we need for somebody from the union to start doing, or anybody from MLS, is to start dating a Kardashian. I said, yeah. You're right with that?
It's so British, dude.
I think you were talking to Danny, and to me that's kind of I don't know who was the play-by-play caller at the stadium. Maybe it was Danny.
Yeah, it was Danny. It was
And the
Danny.
thing, I watch the games in Spanish, so I don't know who does the English commentary.
Well, I don't know. I was just chilling with the guy. I was just like, what's going on? Like, he came to the press. I'm like, yeah, you need a seat? Come chill with me. I can't. Hey, look, just like I ran Roberto, you know what I mean? My man sits next to me everywhere I go. I'm like, come on, dog. Come hang with me.
Yeah, Roberto's getting jerseys or pre.
Yeah, you saw that.
Sent to him. I'm like, yo, I've been doing Spanish transcription for my videos, and I don't get jack.
my man. But yeah, he said we just need a union player to start dating a Kardashian. We'll get some. So what he's pretty much saying is we just gotta market it. These players.
We can't get Taylor Swift to date one of the soccer players instead of football.
Yeah, right. I mean, just get a ridiculous looking stupid mustache and you'll be all right. So, but yeah, man, it's like I said, Saturday it's going to be a big game. Jose, how you feeling? I mean, I'm just trying to take the conversation I had with Doyle yesterday. It's just the injuries are starting to set in, and they're just drawing with people. 4 straight draws now. Probably gonna have 5 straight draws after Saturday.
Very, very little hope against a very strong Columbus team at Columbus. I think that's a very difficult place to see the Union escape with a point.
Not a good formula.
No, so I totally see this as a big goose egg coming home. So I'll be pleasantly surprised. I think the formula for most leagues is win at home or draw at home and draw away or sneak with a victory away, and that's how you win leagues. Obviously, Supporter Shield's a different thing here, and playoffs are completely different here than most other leagues, so that doesn't apply. But ultimately, I just don't see how this team can even withstand the pressure that Columbus will put on them. So best of luck to them, but I just don't see it.
Out of curiosity, Pat, no, I don't think I've ever asked you this before, but you're a newer soccer fan, right?
Correct, Mundo.
So what do you rank in terms of trophy? What do you rank first, MLS Cup or the Shield?
MLS Cup. I mean, to me, for importance wise, I mean, yeah, Shield's nice and everything, but at the end of the day, I think you'll get a parade out of an MLS Cup, than you would do it out of a Shield. Shield's nice and everything, but I mean, people want to see parades and have good times in Mill Broadway and Broad Street. So if you bring
you're American, okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, see, that's the thing. Everywhere else in the world, it's whoever has the most points at the end of the season wins the league, and then that's just what it is. And the fact that the MLS playoffs are here are just because of that. I'm not knocking it. I understand why they're here. They're exciting. I love the playoff format and everything. To me, maybe it's just because I'm used to it. I don't know about you, Jose. You can let us know, but I think the Supporter Shield to me, it just, I don't know. It just feels right.
Yeah, it should feel right, but unfortunately, that's not here.
Not here.
Yeah. Here, that's not the goal that gets you a star over top of your crest, unfortunately. Yeah. So for what it's worth, it's got to be the MLS Cup, or honestly, I would put a lot of weight, and I know not a lot of people do, but the Champions Cup, CONCACAF, I would appreciate that. But as Val says, there's, if there was a way to get the Supporter Shield to put something on your crest to show, just like how LAFC got the star over their crest from last year. That would be great if the Supporter Shield would do that. We'd have one.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Well, listen, Jose, I don't want to be around Gus no more in an MLS Cup, no more, because when they lost that final shootout last year, my man was throwing lawn chairs all over Subaru Park. I don't want to be around him no more for that. Okay, I'm not going to get hit. I'm not paying the piper for this. Man was bringing lawn chairs.
I saw grown men cry at the stadium on the ground.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hang out with that. Okay, that man's.
I was at my home holding my 7-month-old or whatever it was, 6-month-old at the time, and just kind of like, we're gonna do this. And then the bail thing happened and everything, and I was just looking at my wife and my son. I'm just like, we're not gonna do this.
I used to love Gareth Bale. Like, I'm a Real Madrid guy, so
well, that's stupid.
love Gareth Bale up until that moment. I used to love Gareth Bale.
See, that's a butterfly effect. Your liking of the team of that man ruined it. But I don't know. I personally have to run. If you guys gotta go,
thanks for joining. We appreciate it.
Jose, you're welcome.
We're gonna get going a little bit, but thanks for coming and joining the show, man. We always appreciate you coming in.
To have you, buddy.
Always, and guys, check out Jose Mondays at 8:45, talking Union Soccer on AT&T Sports. Does a heck of a job.
And tomorrow too, you said you're going on at noon, right?
Yeah, I'm going up at noon at that Philly Sports Network, that PHLY network that just came up not too long ago. I'm going to be with Renee Washington, who used to do the in-game / video featurette type of stuff. So I'll be on YouTube if you guys catch that. Great. If not,
cool.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Should be a fun little. They just had Nate Harriel and Jack McGlynn today, and last week they had Bedoya on, so definitely suboptimal compared to the other guests, but hey, I'm just here to fill in a little bit.
They don't know you sub as the Undertaker. You should probably tell them.
Yeah. I should ask for a trap door underneath the chair.
Well, listen, guys, follow Jose everywhere, YouTube, Facebook, you name it, he's there. Catch him on X now, whatever. Does a great job, man. Guys, if you haven't, my man's at every Union game in the press box. Does a hell of a job. Guys, catch him out. My man, again, check out my man, Jose Nunez. Jose, thank you so much for hopping on, buddy.
Yeah, no problem. Last plug. Check out, I think Monday, I should be done with it, but I was able to talk with Ibon Alolaye, who is the creator of Live Breathe Football, that brand that just unleashed, I think, an unbelievable clothing line for the Philadelphia Union. You see a lot of the jackets now, the sweatshirts out there. So Ibon has been doing incredible stuff over the years, but now that he was able to figure out licensing with the MLS, will continue to do stuff with the Union. My understanding is every single year, but every single year he also will be rotating 5 different teams throughout the league to give them a taste of Philadelphia clothing style. So really, really cool stuff.
Nice.
30-minute interview that I'll be piecing out in different parts throughout the day on Monday, and then a full 30-minute YouTube video, 1440p that you guys can all watch there. So enjoy. Beyond that, have a great evening, and sorry.
And now, real fast, you're gonna be in their studio tomorrow, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
I will be.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So I gotta go put the little eye bag stuff under my eyes and probably shave a little bit.
Put some makeup on.
You need a tuxedo? Sure, I got 4 of them.
No. I have my Timbs and my religions and my blazer for tomorrow. I'm set for the Pat Bernard show.
Brother.
Listen, do me a favor. Tell my man Jamie Lynch, the bro. Tell him Pat from Ambler said hello. So, guys,
that's the guy who sells me Jews at the corner.
I can't. Oh man, too much fun. Jose, have a good one. That guy's a pro. He's a true man.
I'm always happy to have Jose on, man. He brings a lot of information, brings a lot of insight to everybody. Val, I know you know what? A lot of people didn't. Like I said, I've been a Real Madrid fan since I was 6 years old. When he joined, I thought he was really good, especially because we took him from Tottenham, and I hate Tottenham. Which was awesome, but yeah, love having Jose here. What's that?
We all hate Tottenham.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the shit. Anyway, but yeah, love having him here. But Pat, you have some videos to play for everybody, right?
Before we do that, I wanted to get my little piece in on in terms of the conversation about people saying that soccer is boring. I happened across it today when I was going through some reels on Facebook. I forget who the comedian is. I forget the name, but I do want to give him credit for it. He was like, when you really think about it, when they're like, oh, well, the game was only 3-2. You look at football, like American football, the game is 21-14. It's just 3-2, dude. Like,
yeah, no, that's absolutely correct. I've seen that.
It's 3-2, but you made up the numbers. Like,
you're making up points.
Yeah, come on.
I don't get it sometimes. I mean, look, it's sports a sport. Whether you blow a team out, whether it's a close game, I mean, I just don't understand it. And listen, I wasn't your typical 4-for-4, but again, and once a team represents Philly, I got to represent it. So, but I'm one of the few. So again, you guys see, I'm heavily vested. Unfortunately, I'm sorry if I didn't know the bald-headed fella who speaks English up in the press box. I'm sorry I didn't know that man. But cool dude. I mean, I was just chilling with the dude. So anyway. Guys, next week we will be back again. We will have Union. We'll be recapping Union. Two tough matchups coming up. Again, Saturday they got Columbus. Wednesday got Atlanta. So again, a tough stretch coming down. The Union banged up. The Union trying to survive this beat down. So anyway, guys, hopefully the Union get a win. For Gus, check them out. Facebook, Instagram, and both of these guys are on X. Check these guys out. Guys, have a great night. Thank you so much. And check out our great sponsors.
All right, guys, if you're a Philly sports fan and you want to travel with your favorite team, then travel with the best. Go to phillysportstrips.com. They have self-travel packages and full travel packages available with round-trip flights from the Philadelphia airport. Packages include direct flights, 4-night stays, all-inclusive tailgate parties, lower-level group tickets. Whatever you want, you got it with phillysportstrips.com. If you want to travel to an upcoming Phillies game, make sure you check out Philly Sports Trips. And do not forget, Philly Sports Trips has all the away trips for the Eagles' upcoming 2023 season. Jump on it now, because you do not want to lose out on all these great opportunities. Go to phillysportstrips.com. All right, guys, let's talk about...
Who keeps on pushing that?
All right, guys. All right, guys, let's talk about Cherry Law Firm. If you get hurt at work in a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or affected by criminal law, you got to call David R. Cherry of the Cherry Firm. Call 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David R. Cherry fight for your rights. Again, that number is 610-565-0300. That's 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David R. Cherry fight for your right. All right, guys, when you're staying local and you want to watch a great game or just hang out with some great people, make sure to go to Dolan's Bar at 24 East Sellers Avenue at Ridley Park. Right off of I-95, south of Philadelphia Airport, Dolan's Bar is the place to be. Great music, great times, memorabilia giveaways, great drinks, and even better food. You never know when a former Philly sports icon walks through the door. You got to go to Dolan's, 24 East Sellers Ave at Ridley Park. Tell PJ that EOP sent you. Go to dolansbar.com or follow them on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or even TikTok. We'll see you there for the game. All right, guys, it's time to talk about Sherry's Tickets. Sherry'sTickets.com is easy to use and has no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. Pay less and play more with Sherry'sTickets.com. Save even more by using the exclusive promo code EOP10. That's EOP10. Do not pay hidden fees and save 10%. Why use any other ticket reseller and get those hard-to-come-by tickets to the big game? If you need a more personal touch, give them a call at 610-494-5050. That's 610-494-5050. Sherry'sTickets.com also has great theater and concert tickets that are hard to get your hands on. Remember, do not overpay and save with the best at Sherry'sTickets.com. Save 10% using the promo code EOP10. That's EOP10. You'll thank us later. Sherry'sTickets.com.
All right, guys. Catch you later.